I want to sit down and say that I hold no dog in the political race whatsoever. But since it has to do with a lot that I talk about when it comes to socialistic values, losing moral and ethical characteristics, and it also talks about the separation through scripture, I'm going to bring this up. Ted Cruz had a very valuable point. All that other fracking and whatever, when it comes to my state of New York, ain't happening. And I do agree with Cone on that. But as far as the socialistic values and everything else that he said, it's true. You not from New York, I'm going to put you on. New York is a very, very socialistic place, to the point that if you walk on a train or something, the first thing somebody's going to do is look at your shoes, because they're very judgmental and figure if they look at your shoes, it'll tell the personality what you got. Then they also go by what you're doing. People want to know what you do and how you're doing it, because they're very socialistic out here. Now, New York, has it ever been like that? Has New York City ever been like that? The answer is no. Old school New Yorkers know for a fact that there was always a bond. One person would see something in somebody, look out for them, and one hand wash the other, and everybody would look out for each other. But the last 15 to 10 years, everything has flipped over when you have a lot of people coming in, a lot of other cultures coming in, where New York City has developed into, something that technically, to me, I think is out of hand. A lot of old school people will tell you it's out of hand. It's over socialistic. It always had a socialistic way to it, but it's just like on steroids, socialistic, for the fact that you have people that have been here. So if you live somewhere, whether it be Tennessee, Kansas, Idaho, California, Florida, if you live there all the way up until you, I don't care if you was 13, 15, 16, whatever, especially if you 18 and or over, if you lived there until you was 18 and you moved in New York, and now you're 20 something or 30 something, guess what? You're still an imprint of that state or city where you came from. You're not a city person. And that's real talk. So we have a lot of people that have been here, and it seems like a lot of people that are opinionated going, yeah, I'm a New Yorker. Oh, I've been here for 5 years, and you 30-something years old. So, or I've been here for 10 or 15 years, and you 30 or 20-something years old. No, you are from where you're from. You just been out here. So since you're out here, you're considered a New Yorker, but you actually weren't born and raised in your family with all this other stuff. So we have a lot of things, because back then when it got started, it was blacks, Irish, Italians, Jewish, and Spanish. So that was it. And the Spanish consisted of Puerto Ricans, Dominicans. And even they will tell you Mexicans wasn't even out here back then. So, and I'm not being racist, but I'm telling you the truth. So everything that Ted Cruz said about that is 1,000%, and it's even more of 1,000%, and because of all the new people coming in and putting their socialistic ways into it, and it's like multiplying with more socialistic ways. And I'm being honest with you. You can look at how they're doing with the finances, the prices, the neighborhoods, even the housing between the poor and the rich. Bam, that speaks for itself. So Ted Cruz hit a point. But Donald Trump went and used a New York City hustle on you. All right, because that's what he is. He's a New York City hustler. And anybody that's from New York City will tell you he's a hustler. We know how Donald Trump gets down. So he goes and he pulls off the 9/11 joint to get everybody to think, you know what? Boom, it's like, all right, it's just like, okay, we all figuring out the truth of the Hebrews and this, that, and the third. So how the Holocaust would be used as a sympathy tool. Now he's putting, a lot of people are playing the 9/11 thing with New York as a sympathy tool, when technically it has already been looked at as an inside job, and Saudi Arabia did it and blah, 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 but it's still being sucked in to a lot of the people who are just dumb like that, not intellectual, have no, intellect at all, that as a sympathy tool. So he pulled that card out on everybody, because that's a New York game. Boom, let me pull this card out on you. Bam, hit him with the 9/11 thing. Then, on top of that, he won't even tell you why he's pulling the card, that the reason why you won't see a lot of the Orthodox and Hasidic Jews in during the memorial service, because 4,000 of them called off the work. But we won't get into that. That's none of my business. That's for you to do your research on. But see, people are not intellect or educational or educated enough to even go and do the research on it. So anyway, why he's describing everybody's falling for, he won't tell you that. Now, this is the amazing part. This is where everybody in the political game gets dumb. Because if you're a New Yorker, you know that Donald Trump's a hustler. He went broke, got back on the billionaire status. He's got a company that uses his name and everything else that gets money. That's a big old pyramid Ponzi scheme, ACN. And he talks about Muslims, but a lot of people he got working for him or doing whatever with this company that they use his name and all this other stuff or whatever, that he's a part of, this ACN electricity company. You know what I mean? A lot of them are from India, Bangladesh, Pakistan. A lot of them are Muslim. So he uses that side, and that's out of North Carolina, and they hustle a lot in New York City. So he has a lot of hustling that he does. So when he sits down, he talks about blacks, Mexicans, Muslims. He's pulling the card because that's another New York hustle to see which way everybody's going to sway, and then he's going to run with that. But technically, in the end, we already know what it is. He a hustler. You getting hustled. So he has to if you're not from New York and you don't know the New York game, boom. All right. So that's why they call it city slickers. So I'm just keeping it real. I'm not against or for anybody because I don't, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying the point that, just peep out game because I'm going to speak the truth and that's just the truth of it. And we leave it at that. All right.